City 1, West Ham 0. As well as scoring, they've worked Areola at least 3 more times. A couple of efforts from Doku in particular that have had Areola scrambling across his goal. Now Rodri comes forward, helps it on to Gvardiol. Lovely play from Gvardiol, great run, and on to Haaland. And now Doku, getting to the edge of the area, Doku. On it goes to Foden, 2-0! City 2, West Ham 0. The master marksman, Phil Foden, you absolute beauty. You're one of our own, and we're delighted, we're privileged, we're honoured that you are. City lead by 2-0. There's an assist for Jeremy Doku, just proving why Pep Guardiola had a gut feeling that he could play a part today. And in 18 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium, West Ham now need to score twice to stop City being the champions of England again.
I think I saw him when he was a kid, really. In one of the times I went to speak to his team, I don't think he could have been older than 12 years old or something. And then I watched him play. I watched him play as a promising talent, and he was part of a good team as well, so it was good to see him evolve until the day where he got his first training session with us.
I think Vinny was the main one for me, who put his arm around the young ones, not just me, Brahim as well, Jayden at the time when he was there, and just made us feel comfortable. Obviously, when I was young, I was very shy, so stepping into the changing room with them big names, you know, I kept quiet for a long time, and the more they made me feel welcome, it just made me feel more comfortable. So, yeah, after a bit of time, I was just back to normal and back to myself.
It's hard, you know, coming as a young boy into a team. For him, his boyhood club, you know, he probably looked up to a lot of players of us at the time. You know, I think it's normal, you have to settle in a bit, but I think with time passing, it becomes more and more natural, and once you get that feeling away, it's all normal, I guess. You've got to feel your way into a dressing room, and he did that terrifically, and he wasn't shy, but he was humble, and he was an example as to how you break into a first team as a young player, and he was patient, and he was lucky to have a manager who believed in him.
I remember the standard being so high, and I thought, this is completely different, you know, to youth football. It's so much faster, more physical. I remember coming off the training pitch thinking, wow, is that the standard that I have to get to?
He had that Mancunian toughness about him.
His confidence just shone through on the training pitch. He could spend a year not playing football, come back and it'd just click, you know? Whereas me, it'd take me weeks, you know, to get back into it. The realisation of Phil Foden for us all was pre-season tour in America when he played. He started, and I think there's been numerous interviews from the manager about, or around that time, about Phil Foden. Yeah, we've all been huge fans ever since, especially me.
Certainly won't be anything like as seasoned a Manchester City lineup, waiting for Bernardo Silva, of course, after his summer exploits. The headlines, however: Edison, Tosin Adarabioyo, Phil Foden and Patrick Roberts, all given the chance to start here by Guardiola. That's another beautiful turn by Foden. What an impression he's making. And no shortage of confidence in this young man, Foden. Seeing plenty of it, making a nice shape or two.
And so far he fits right into this City team, doesn't he?
Looks a Guardiola kind of footballer as well, doesn't he?
I knew I was going to get game time because it was pre-season, but I didn't think I was going to be starting. So obviously to start with like Yaya in midfield, you know, Raz, Sergio, it was an unbelievable team.
Foden looking in the manner born in that first half, the 17-year-old from Stockport.
It's funny because you just see him with Pogba, and he's roughly around the size of one leg of Pogba.
Genuinely brilliant. I don't think this is hyperbole. He was that good, and he made very established international footballers look silly.
A lot of space for him, kept going with it and hits it. 17-year-old Phil Foden looks entirely comfortable.
I've never seen anything like it. I don't normally watch pre-season games, but I was interested to see how that season was going to start. The fact that he could come in and just look like one of the senior players in a pre-season tour was huge.
Just his kind of maturity for such a young player to get the ball, ride a few tackles, the spraying it out to the wingers and fully kind of knowing how the manager wanted us to play at such a young age is incredible.
You could see Guardiola absolutely lighting up in the press conference afterwards because he knew he was witnessing the birth of something special.
I don't have words. I would like to have the right words to describe what today I saw. You are lucky guys. Believe me. You are the guys who saw the first game in the first team for Manchester City for this guy. And for us is a gift.
I did better than I thought I would have done, to be honest, but I remember after the game the manager being impressed with me and saying I want you to stay with us and be a part of the changing room, so that was a nice feeling to hear that from him after the game.
We've been watching you in training. You seem to get on very well with Aguero. Has he been taking you under his wing?
Yeah, he's a great guy. Obviously you want to learn from players like that, so it's good to get close to players like that.
Well done, Phil.
He says he loves you.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Me too, I love you.
Some people do take a little bit of time to adapt, and maybe as a City fan, I underestimated just how high the level is. At the time when he was breaking through, out wide it was the likes of Sane and Sterling. In the middle it was Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, Ilkay Gundogan. There was an education, and then there's that education. Like the standards that he had to adhere to and reach were just catastrophically high. They were ridiculous, But that's what made him, I guess, rise to the challenge. And even though I wanted to see him play earlier, it was the right call.
Foden it is, onto his left foot. Foden in the far corner, and it's 3.
I think the good thing for him is that Pep had a plan for him, the club had a plan for him, and I think they eased him in. And it's an interesting pathway because it's a bit different than the other young players now. Especially to break into a team like Man City, directly from the youth to the first team. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's as close to impossible as you can get. It's very special what he did.
While us as City fans on the outside, all wanted to go, look, we want to see more of him. He's an exciting young talent. Get him in the team. Young players need to play to develop. Guardiola knows better than that, and he's managed him really well.
Phil Foden with his first goal at the Etihad for Manchester City.
The people at the club trusted Pep and knew what he was doing, and then obviously, outside, because of the reputation he had, there was a lot of noise coming, but then obviously after that year, all the noise went away.
Foden, a product of the City Academy, has scored.
Knowing that somebody can do that who also goes to the same kind of like chicken restaurant as I do every few weeks, it feels so normal and yet not normal. It's really nice to see a young player from the local area come through. The fans can identify with them because they're all local people from the environment. They grew up, some of them grew up in Stockport, some of them, grew up around where he's from. There's something about City and there's something about Stockport that, kind of go hand in hand, and I can't really work out why.